Welcome to the Brew Coachman Show, where we discuss how to live your best life. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the Brew Coachman Show. And it's such a pleasure having you. How are you today? With me, of course, my partner is Bima. I am Coachman. So today we're going to be talking about a very important topic, innovate or perish. Bima, what do you have to say about that?
Innovate or perish.
Yes, please.
For me, it basically means learning how to adapt to, the world around you, so you don't get, so you don't basically die or get, the world around you, so you don't basically die or get left behind.
Are you talking about rapture?
I'm not talking about rapture. I'm talking about the world moving forward, guys.
I'm leaving you behind.
Exactly. What do you think? The world is moving at like an alarming pace
Yes, so
these days. Like things just keep changing almost by the second. So basically, you have to be on top of your game. You have to be on the tip of your toes. And basically, this cuts across everybody, as in we're not talking about just human beings. We're talking about animals even. Like if you were to do some research, you look at the way animals were then. We had dinosaurs, then we don't have dinosaurs anymore.
They didn't innovate.
And they perished,
Yes.
right? And I'm sure if you look at animals, look at their history over time, you notice like there are a little change here, a little change there, and the animals you see today compared to the ancestors way back, they're different. They have adapted, they've innovated, which is why they're still here with us. It's the same thing too with us as human beings. I mean, I like to bake, in my free time. It's a hobby of mine that I actually enjoy. While there was a time I actually thought of probably going into it commercially, I had the passion and the zest and the zeal and all of that for it then. I was keeping up with the different changes, in baking and everything. And so I could see myself easily adapting, baking then as it was then. Now, though, I feel like I'm hopelessly out of my depth when I think about what baking entails. I see people baking and designing things, and I see that there are new tools and all of that. People have changed. I haven't innovated myself, as in where baking is concerned. And so, if I'm not careful, if I really want to go into it commercially now, I'll probably perish even before I started. So for me, that's it. Innovation, innovate or perish is basically like you have to learn how to survive or die. Yes. Sink or swim.
Do
or die. That's what I think innovate or perish is. Coach, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. I'm thinking to myself every day, I'll tell you something, folks. Never before, and this is so heartwarming, in the history of the world, has it been easier to be extremely wealthy. Never before. One innovation, you're done.
You're made.
You're one idea, one thought, everything seems to be pushing you to that direction. Guess what, folks? The new wealth is no longer natural resources. Guess what the new wealth is?
Human resources.
Human resources. So the question is, what do you have in you that you can offer to the world? Innovate on it and get paid. Cash out.
But coach, when you talk about human resources, I'm sorry to deviate a bit. Like, are human resources really like the in thing now? What with AI and they're taking away?
Well, it's human beings powering AI. It's human beings creating it. It's human beings who have a depth and a greater grip on life doing what they have to do. You see, what's going to happen in the world is, I'm sorry to say this, but the smart ones and the rich ones are going to take over. At least they have an idea of what life is. It's all about movement, forward movement. Think about it. Africa is where it is today because we're not moving at the pace of what the West is doing.
Africa is not innovating, as in, yes.
We're not moving.
We're not on par with,
We're not with all the resources we have, not with all the talents, the skills, the power, the life, the energy that God has given us.
We're not making the most of
it at all. We're still very primal, and that's why we have those old people ruling young. Imagine the old people ruling such a young, dynamic
generation.
It's crazy. So when I think about innovation, I think about evolution. I think about evolving. Evolution is the soulmate of innovation. You've got to evolve to innovate. How do you evolve? You've got to have understood yourself to a certain degree. Folks, we're always talking about the inner world. This is where it all starts. It's the engine of life. If you don't understand how life works, you're not going to know how to make the best of it. You must know how something works first.
To be able to make the most of it.
Exactly. You must have that basic knowledge. You must understand how it functions in your mind. That's why it's called smart. When you know what something is, when you say something is smart, it's because it's fluid. There's a flow, there's a connect. So if you're not connecting with who you are, how do you grow? How do you improve on yourself? You get left behind. You see that in relationships, in marriages.
Yes.
You know, people get married all of a sudden. I'm sorry to say this, folks, and I'm not going to be bringing it here because I don't want to get my partner angry. Why do men seem to get bored with their wives? All of a sudden, the man develops cold feet in the marriage. He wants to date younger girls. He wants more. Why? It's because the same energy the wife started with is no longer there. He's bored.
Guys, I don't want to get into like a gender war here, but I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. I don't think that's the situation like all of the time. That the woman is entirely to blame if that situation
agree.
does occur. Because there are situations or there are circumstances where Oga does not want Madame to work after marriage. He wants her to
Okay.
stay home and take care of the children, you know, and Madame is probably like razzled and tired at the end of the day, such that she's not able to look as sharp as the CC that Oga is seeing in his office, who doesn't have any encumbrances or anything deterring her from looking her young, sexy self, you know. So there are lots of things at play there. I'm not holding Madame entirely responsible, you know. And besides, that aside, right, Oga and Madame took certain vows at marriage at the altar they're supposed to stick to. It wasn't exactly based on Oga's looks or Madame's looks. If Madame is not looking the way Oga wants her to look, Oga is supposed to take steps to ensure that Madame gets back on track and vice versa.
So Oga is supposed to innovate, Madam.
Oga is supposed to point Madame towards innovation. Abi?
Well said. Well spoken. Now you know why we call her Bimo. Ladies, I hope you're learning.
But you know, back
to what we're saying.
Yeah.
So innovation is what is needed at this point in time. If you're not innovating, you're dying. You're going backwards, you're stagnating. Your perishing doesn't mean just physical death. It means you're left behind. You no longer are relevant. You're not valuable.
In the scheme of things.
No, you're not. People forget to call you.
Do you think perhaps as a nation, Nigeria as a nation, do you think perhaps that's what's happening with us?
I think
Because like it seems the rest of the world is leaving us behind.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even within Africa, and you know, we are still like. Funny enough, right? The thinking, you know, of the individuals, most of the individuals, especially the younger generation here, is on par with the rest of the world. But what we have on ground, what we have, the tools we have to work with here are basically like analog, while the rest of the world has gone digital. Right? So I think that might be part of what's also affecting us as a nation.
But you see,
we're not innovating.
If the nation is not innovating, then you must be innovating.
Isn't that what people try to do on their own, individually?
You have to find the courage. It's my winning superpower. I said that to myself every day. You have to find the courage to build formidable relationships, folks, that can help you become the best of who you are, or you will die before your time and you'll be poor. When I said earlier that it's never before in the history of the world has it been easier to be wealthy, it takes a village to create wealth. It takes more than one person. The Bible says where two or three
are gathered.
It didn't say only where you are gathered. One person doesn't gather.
So basically, you have to put yourself out there as a way you can mix with people.
That's why you have the smartphone. That's why you have the social media. That's why sometimes when I create these things online, people ask me, why am I wasting so much time and energy trying to build platforms? And then you see some people, they never contribute. They never say anything, but give it some time for, you know, they've logged off. These are people that will not do well, because at the end of the day, you need to interact. People are life's greatest resources. People are life's greatest assets. For you to innovate, you must love yourself and love people unconditionally, even with all the mess you see in the world. You can't play with that. So if you're not putting yourself out there, you're not activating your potential, you're not bringing out the best thing, you're not building, you're not listening to programs like Big Coachman and Big Pro Coachman Show, you're not becoming friends with people you don't know, how are you going to grow? You are other people, and other people is you. That's it. So when you put yourself out there, a lot's going to happen to you. You're going to be betrayed, you're going to be snitched upon, you're going to be gossiped, but stay there. Part of the game of innovation is just showing up. True of us.
So, guys, I'm talking to the introverts out there, right? Because, okay, moment of truth. Yeah, I am a bit of an introvert. I think I've overcome a lot of it, compared to when I was a kid growing up and all that. But there is still a part of that there. And, when Coach was talking about putting yourself out there, meeting people, relating with people, interacting with people, I do agree. I've told him several times, I actually envy him and others like him who can actually just walk up to somebody they don't know and start up a conversation, and all of that. I would rather just be alone and have you come to me. So for people like me out there who are introverts, Coach, how do we break through this barrier? How do we meet people? And I mean, because like what you mentioned, now I do agree. It is true. You need people to make the world work for you, right? So how do we break through the shyness, the natural inclination to withdraw into ourselves? How do we break through that and put ourselves out there and meet with people?
You have to realize one thing about life. It's the value you give that you get back. You become self-aware of that trait in you. The natural inclination of the average human is to withdraw. You don't know the other people. So you don't want to get hurt, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to you don't want to risk rejection.
Yeah.
So you want to, but you have to understand that if you really want what you want, it takes for the next person to do it for you. If you really want it, if you have an earnest desire, that's why we in Brucoshman group we talk about personal development.
Yes.
You don't do it in isolation. You don't do it just only you. Whatever you've learned must be tried out, must be tested in the arena of life. Is that right? Yes. So when you have an earnest desire to be all you can be, to be more, to be that which you were created to be, and you want life to give you what you want, you have to create that awareness in you and launch out into the deep.
You have to push yourself.
You have to push yourself. You have to move to the realms you don't like. It is doing the things you don't like that makes you rich. Yes, it's hard. And also it's also the fear of Sakwa.
That's the primary.
It's the fear of Sakwa. It is. If you think about it, if you stay alone, you're not improving, you're not growing, you're not being all you can be. As a matter of fact, you're fading and evaporating every day.
Exactly.
So you're hibernating, you're stagnating. You did all.
What you said just now just brought to mind the story of the servants in the Bible who, who were given talents. When you talked about fading, I thought about the one who had just one talent and who went to hide it.
Yes, dug a hole and hid it.
In the ground.
But he didn't want trouble.
And that which he had was taken away from him.
He didn't want to innovate.
And so, even the little one that he had perished.
And was given to him who
had more.
And that's life. So folks, for young people, really, it's one of my big things in life. We have a model for wealth. There are 5 things we want. Let me share this with you now. We have the 5 things we want to do, right? We are life coaches. We are corporate people, lawyers, accountants. We are tech people. You can see that. That's how you're seeing us. We believe in everyday business, multiple sources of income.
Very important.
And guess what? We're going to go into ministry. You're looking at the future Geo and Mama Geo. Yeah, we have that. So there's a lot we want to do, but we need you to be a part of it. And guess what? The vision the Lord has shown us, if you can make one person rich, you can make 10 people wealthy. The 10 will bring 100 will bring 1,000, bring 10,000. By the time you get past 100, you're already in the millions. That's why you have smart devices. That's why you have internet communities. It has never been easier for people to know about you all over the world than now. So the question I always ask young people, what exactly are you doing with your
smartphone?
What exactly are you doing with your energy? What are you doing with your smart tools and your smart devices? Are you just hiding away? Are you just, you see, because results don't lie. Life doesn't lie. I always tell people, if you want to know the state of your life, look at your bank account. It does not lie.
But coach, how are you saying now? Yeah. There is more to life than money.
But money is part of life. Money answers all things. So, but it's not a bad thing when you, so I always say one thing, it's not a bad thing when you know your net worth is just $1, $1, $10, or $100. But it's how you build on it. And what we're saying to you tonight, part of that innovation is putting yourself out there. Show up and be counted consistently. Bimo tells me of where she worked back a few years ago, a lovely place. And the chairman now is such a wealthy young man. And it was so tough in the beginning. But today they're making multi-millions in Naira because they kept at it. So what exactly have you picked in your life? What have you said to yourself, I'm going to innovate on? I'm going to innovate on myself, my inner world.
Yeah.
I'm going to innovate on my skills, my talents. I'm going to be a part of a people who do that. That's why when you listen to this, take it serious. There are things you want to do that we want to be a part of. There are things we want to do that you got to be a part of. We're not just coming here because we just want to talk. It's because we are nothing without. We can't do it alone. Can we do it alone?
No,
We can't. We need you.
this is our way of reaching out to you.
Exactly. So if you want to be rich, let's make money. I don't want to wait till 2030. I don't want to join one government in one vision 2030. I have a plan for my 2030. Let's do $1 billion. It's not bad. And let me tell you, folks, when you innovate, you make money. And when you make money, you become wealthy. And life is good when you have money.
And the wealthy become wealthier.
Exactly. And it's like that everywhere in the world. If you notice one thing, and that scares me, we've talked about it being more, the middle class is being collapsed.
Between the
Yes, it used to be
upper class.
10% wealthy, 20% middle class, 70% lower class. Now, guess what the 1% of the 10% is doing? They're collapsing the 20% to join the 70%. Yeah. So, folks, where do you want to be? No, where do you want to be?
Everybody wants to be upper class
Well,
now.
exactly. No, it's not wanting, it's not wishing, it's willing. It's doing those things that you don't like. Yes. It's introspecting, analyzing your inner world, your thoughts, your words, your action, having friends like Bimo, having coaches like the coach. That's why we have those names. Calling us with your problems. Don't hibernate in yourself. Don't start thinking the world is a terrible place. Guess what, folks? The world has always been a terrible place. That's what life is. Shout.
Find somebody. I know it's hard,
It
folks,
is.
right?
It
Because
is.
you know, when I've had these conversations with people, the response usually is you don't know people. People will hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, when you open up to them. So there is that risk, yes. But there also is a possibility that you could very well meet somebody who is
connects.
welcoming, who connects with you.
I agree.
You know, so you never know until you know.
The British have a saying, say you kiss 1,000 frogs before you
meet
meet the prince. So how many frogs have you kissed, folks? Think about it, you've got to innovate. Perish means that thing that should reach out and bless the world is strangulating and choking in you.
Basically hiding your light under the bushel.
Absolutely. Madam Gio. Exactly. And Bible says you don't hide your light on, you put it where?
On the mountaintop.
Where everybody, and you
Can
see,
see it.
everything about life supports innovation. The Bible says if you have faith as well as a mustard,
You have to have faith.
you got to have faith. You've got to reach out. You've got to come out. You have to talk. See, your life speaks volumes about reaching out. You've got 2 eyes, you can see. You have a nose, you can smell. You have a mouth, you can talk. You have hands that can reach out, literally. You have legs that can
move forward. Yeah.
So what's the excuse? Nature abhors stagnation. Nature abhors a vacuum.
Sure.
Yes. The only thing that stays one place forever is death. Think about it. When people die, they just stay like that.
Sure.
So it's a simple choice, folks. It's a simple choice. This is a new year, brand new to 2025, a new month. You've got to decide which part of the divide you want to belong to. You can't stay on the fence anymore.
You've got to choose to live because, you know, from all of what we're saying, what comes to mind is that innovation really means living. You know, I read something once somewhere, said death is more universal than life because everybody dies, but not everybody really lives.
True. Very true.
So what we could be doing when you are not innovating, but you're still alive, you're basically just existing. You're not living.
You're not living.
So you have to live, draw in breath, take that step.
Every day.
Push yourself, measure up yourself today against who you were yesterday. And improve yourself.
Be a better version of you every day.
Every single day. Not necessarily compare yourself to the next person. You guys have different walks. You have different paths to walk in life, you know. So push yourself, you know. Push yourself daily, you know, and beat yourself up into the person that you want to be in the future.
Did you say beat yourself up?
I'm not saying no. Sorry, guys. Of course, as when I'm using the word beat yourself up, I'm not talking about beat yourself up emotionally or psychologically.
Discipline yourself.
Exactly, that's the word. Discipline yourself. That's what I meant by beat yourself up. Push yourself forward. Be disciplined. God, discipline is so important. As in, it's basically it governs
You
like
have to fix. It does.
everything, you know, like you have to be disciplined. Discipline is what gets you out of bed in the morning at 5:30 to go take that walk, to go for that jog, when all you want to do is just to cozy
And
draw the difference for yourself
and cover your head.
and snuggling, you know. As in discipline is what gets you up every day. As in you're tired, you just want to take your phone and scroll and just look mindlessly, as in through different movies and stuff that's not going to benefit you really in any way. Discipline is what makes you go searching for a topic that you know is going to improve you. Discipline is what is going to make you reach for that self-help book and read, rather than, you know, pick up one romance novel or something and just lose yourself in, you know. So discipline is so very important, and it's so hard to cultivate.
It's so hard. Freedom is discipline. Is that not a paradox?
It is a paradox. Because it almost feels like you lose your freedom when you are trying to learn discipline.
But that's when you gain your freedom. It's funny. It's when you don't have money. It's when you try not to have money that you have money. It's the frugal that have money. You watch every cent. You watch every cover. You watch every naira.
I think it's beyond frugality. I think it's gone beyond frugality. I think it's basically also choosing to invest.
Absolutely.
You know, and all of that to grow the money that you are being frugal about. You know, if not, you're just going to be like one stingy old fart. You know, at the end of the day. So that's it, guys. We branched off into, you know, 1,000 other things this evening, talking about innovate or perish, as in just to show you how important it is to innovate as an individual, as a nation, as a company, as a family, you know, in everything you're doing.
Every aspect of life, even animal world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Innovate or perish. Remember that, guys.
Yes.
You know, choose to innovate so you don't get left behind, so you don't perish, so you don't start hiding, you know, from others who know you, who have chosen to innovate and moved on.
And don't blame them when they don't say hi to you.
In your relationships, innovate, grow yourself. And as you're growing yourself, also prod your partner to grow himself or herself, you know, so you don't wake up one morning and your partner is way back there, you know, and you're forward. So in everything, let's choose to innovate, guys. And bear in mind that innovation involves also focusing on your inner world and growing your inner world and growing your inner self, you know. So let's take time and work on that, guys. And as always, I would love to hear about your journey. I would like you to send us comments, and we'd love to know how your journey is going. We'd love to journey with you. We'd love to have you journey with us. We'd love to build something beautiful with you. You know.
Absolutely.
So we'll be looking forward to hearing from you. You guys have a lovely night ahead. It's been wonderful hanging with you. My name is B Moore, saying have a lovely night, Coach.
Beautiful.
Good night, guys.
Thank you for watching the Brew Coachman Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join us next time for another exciting episode.